5 changes. 5 changes that the National Park Service can do to give you a better experience. And these are the ones I've come up with all my travels. So let's get into it. So I know some of these might be a little bit, fantasy land. But either way, if they can be changed or anything can be done, they're going to better your experience. So let's get to the first one on my list in no particular order.
Number 5.
So I recently took a trip to Grand Tetons National Park. And one of the things that I noticed was that I was constantly interrupted by flying airplanes. I know that Jackson Hole Airport borders the park here, and the way that the flight path is currently aligned, any airplanes coming into the airport go right over the heart of Grand Tetons National Park. And so when you're out hiking or by the river or enjoying a view, you're constantly getting interrupted by planes flying overhead. And I don't mean like high altitude, I mean planes coming in for a landing. So they're loud, they're obnoxious, and it's a constant irritant. So if there's any way they could change the flight path and have those airplanes come in from a different direction, that'd be way beneficial for everyone in the national park to enjoy it. Because the last thing you want is to look at this view and have an airplane fly right over your head. Because when I was there, it was constant.
Number 4.
So my second recommendation is for Yosemite National Park camping reservations. So the current system in place right now allows you to book campground reservations 5 months in advance. And they're released in 1-month increments on the 15th of every month. So if it's January 15th, the dates of May 15th through June 14th open up all at the same time. This is the problem with the system right now. Because you're releasing the entire month all at once, if anyone wants to come for any particular length of time, because a lot of people that come to Yosemite are traveling great distances, and if you want to camp more than 1 or 2 days, it makes it particularly hard to get camping reservations, because when it opens up on the 15th for 1-month increments, let's just say you're trying to make reservations for the 20th through the 24th, so 4 days. So anyone that's making reservations all at the same time, you're battling people that only want to stay on 1 day or 2 days, or you're battling with someone that wants to stay 2 days the day before you arrive and the day that you arrive, or even on the back half of that reservation. And so what happens is, because these sell out almost instantaneously, you're probably not going to be able to pick the dates that you really want, especially if you're on a time budget. The current reservation system for many of the other national parks, let's take Zion National Park, is done 6 months in advance. And when it's done 6 months in advance, and it will list you the campsites that are open for the date that you want to arrive and the ones that are available. But it gives you the opportunity for longer than 3 or 4 days. So if you want to make a longer trip for this national park, it allows that. And that's what Yosemite National Park needs to do. They need to release the national park campsite availability 6 months in advance, so people have a better opportunity to try to book campsites longer than 1 or 2 days. I think this would really improve the experience at Yosemite National Park, and it will give people much more options for the length of stay that they want to stay.
Number 3.
So for my next recommendation is actually for national parks I have never actually been to. And that is for some of the national parks in Alaska to have more access to be able to go explore. Some of these national parks are so isolated, the only way that you can actually get to them is booking a extremely expensive bush plane, and that's really expensive. So I'm going to kind of pick on Gates of the Arctic as a specific example. So the only way to get to the Gates of the Arctic is by bush plane, or you can hike in off the highway that runs north and south on the east side of the park. So because the access to these national parks is so limited, these national parks are ranked one of the lowest visitation numbers in the entire National Park Service. So my recommendation, particularly with Gates of the Arctic, is to build a road or a visitor center somewhere into the national park. So one of the destinations that they could potentially do is to the gates of the national park. And the gates are actually located between Frigid Crags and Boreal Mountain. You could potentially maybe create a road from the highway going up this valley to get to the gates. But at least it would give visitors an actual opportunity to go to this national park, see why it's so special and worthy of national park status.
Number 2.
So if you've seen my previous videos, this next recommendation is not going to be a big surprise. And that is having a much larger dedicated space for an official gift shop at Olympic National Park. Almost all of the visitor centers within the national park have very limited options when it comes to the gift shop. One shirt. This was my only option for a shirt. I mean, I like the shirt. It's a good shirt, but no variety. And Olympic National Park had 3.7 million visitors in 2024 and basically no gift shop whatsoever. I've been to plenty of national parks, and one of the things I really look forward to is browsing through the gift shop. It's really disappointing because people really want to go and buy apparel and buy these things. I'll go as far to say it is the worst gift shop I have ever been in to any national park. Hands down, not even close. It's awful.
Number 1.
So for my last recommendation, that recommendation is for the North Cascades National Park to expand to include the recreational areas that surround it. So when people research North Cascades National Park, one of the things they might notice is, wow, there's not very many people that come here. It's because these places aren't in the national park. They're just outside the national park. Now, I know a lot of people go to the North Cascades National Park and they post pictures like this, or this, or this. Yep, this one too. None of those are actually in the national park. Even the sign, not in the national park. It's in the Ross Lake recreational area. And the National Park Service does include them and help manage them. And I know I'm being a little nitpicky here, but don't you think that these places deserve to be within the national park? And there's probably a really good political reason why it's mapped the way that it is. But whatever side of the political aisle that you sit on, just remember Trump's big, beautiful bill where he wanted to sell off 2% of federal lands was cut at the last minute. National parks and national historic sites weren't part of that. That was mainly focused on national forest and BLM lands. However, even though that this area is managed by the national park and is technically part of the North Cascades National Park complex, it's technically not part of the national park. And after doing a deep dive into it, these places probably wouldn't have been sold off, but it's kind of a gray area. And how trusting are you in that? So I know some of these might be pretty unrealistic and probably aren't going to happen. But if there was any way to make them happen, I think it would really enhance the experience. So I haven't been to all the national parks yet. And I know it, the more national parks I go, this might be a growing list. So you might see more of these videos in the future as I get to explore and experience more national parks. But what do you think of my list? And if there's anything that I missed, please put it in the comments. Or better yet, what would you like the National Park Service to change in any of the national parks? Put in one recommendation in the comments and let me know. And if you like this video, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.